Hi everyone, my name is Chris from cxomni and I'm genuinely excited to welcome you to today's webinar on turning data chaos into actionable insights with the power of Journey AI. And trust me, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by the sheer amount of data sitting in your system, then you're in for a treat today. Do you know that feeling when there's gold hidden in your data, but you don't know really how to get to it? Well, that's exactly what we're tackling today. We'll explore three game-changing aspects. First, we'll look at why unstructured data is such a headache, and believe me, we've all been there. Then we will show you how Journey AI is literally transforming this data chaos into crystal clear insights. And the best part, we will also walk you through some scenarios where these AI-driven insights can actually move the needle on your key metrics. Now, let me quickly tell you why I'm so passionate about this topic. I work for the leading software as a service provider in customer journey management. And yes, that's not just us saying it. It's also Forrester who agrees with us because we are currently the wave leader for journey mapping and management software. But what really excites me is what we're enabling our customers and organizations to do. We're not just helping them create amazing customer experiences, we're also helping them to turn these experiences into real business impact. More revenue, less costs, amazing experience. That's what executives as well as customers love. Here's the thing about journey mapping. Journey mapping is fantastic for visualization and everyone loves a good journey map, right? But have you ever created a journey map and then you were like, okay, now what? That's exactly what we are tackling with journey management. We've taken journey mapping and supercharged it with two super capabilities. First, we've added insights mining. Think of it as your data detective, connecting dots across all your data sources that you probably didn't even know were there. And trust me, what we're going to show you today about how AI is transforming this process will be amazing. Then comes another really exciting part, and that's needs management and orchestration. Because finding insights is great, but making them happen, that's where the magic really happens. Imagine being able to take the insights you've identified and then instantly understand their potential impact, their costs, and who needs to be involved to implement them. It's like having a GPS system for your customer experience insights. In today's webinar, you'll see exactly how AI is making all of this possible. And believe me, what you're about to see is just the beginning of this. At the end of the webinar, of course, you will be able to ask your questions. Just use the chat or the question tool, shoot over the question private or in public, and then we will be happy to answer them. And now I won't steal any more thunder from our amazing presenter. Over to you, Johannes.
Pleasure to meet you, everyone. I'm Johannes from cxomni. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. So Chris already gave a brief introduction of what we're going to cover today, which is the problem of unstructured data. So first of all, before we're talking about what we can do with unstructured data, I just want to shed a little bit of light on the actual problem. And I think this is something that everyone is familiar with. I think each and everyone, whether you're a developer, customer success, customer experience, sales, has known that issue, knows that struggle from his own personal life. You're just overwhelmed with the amount of data available to you. Everyone, especially in professional life, has so much data to consume, data to analyze, is drawing in data that is not even harmonized because it's just collected across different systems, different owners, different types of data. So the sheer amount of data is huge, and the problem of how to actually work with it is even bigger. Just to give you a little impression of how big the problem actually is, in 2024, 80% of the data used by companies was unstructured. But let's maybe just take a little break and look at what unstructured data actually is. I think the logos you're seeing on the screen is something that everyone should be familiar with. Examples for unstructured data are, for example, feedbacks on Trustpilot, feedback in your app store, but also CSAT or NPS reviews, but also things like social media comments, feedback on your various social media channels, stuff like that. I think that's the classical examples that everyone knows when thinking about unstructured data. But unstructured data can be so much more. Unstructured data can also be all your PowerPoint presentations and PDF documents. So just think about how many meetings you're in every week, how many minutes you're writing, how much effort you're putting into building presentations, slide decks. You're hosting a workshop somewhere, you're mapping everything out in Miro or FigJam or something like that. That's all unstructured data as well. So the huge question is, how do we actually make all of that data usable and consumable? And this is not a small problem. And the problem is only getting bigger. In 4 years alone, from 2019 to 2023, the amount of data collected by companies grew by 193%. And that's 4 years only. So there is even just more to come. What challenges arise from this massive amount of unstructured data? It's just extremely difficult to extract actionable insights from that amount of data. So let's assume you're having an app in the App Store. The average app has about 60,000 reviews. How do you make sure that you're going through all that feedback? Manually, it's basically impossible. So we need to find a way how to actually make all of that data usable. You've just got 3 reports from your consulting agency or some research documents. How do you make sure that data doesn't end up in some drawers, but actually is being used and you generate the value out of it that actually sits within that document? Next problem is there is a huge gap between all your structured and all your unstructured data. So structured data like, for example, bounce rates or conversion rates on your website, that's fairly simple to interpret, but how do you actually bring it together with all the unstructured data you're collecting? And remember what I've said in the previous slide, that 80% of your data is actually unstructured and not structured. So this creates a huge efficiency gap in making sure you use the data in an efficient way. Yes, there are tools. You can use keyword search, sentiment analysis, stuff like that. It might help you classify all your open unstructured data, but does it really help you to generate all the insights that actually sit within that data? So what's the impact of not using the full potential of your data? It's relatively simple. It's first of all, ineffective decision-making due to a lack of insights. Decisions are currently a lot based on experience, your gut feeling, the stuff we've done the previous years, but there is so much more data available to actually make your decisions more relevant and more truly based on actual data insights. Not using all your data also results in slower time to market. So customers are complaining about a certain thing, a certain feature, but for you to be able to find it, to actually extract the opportunities out of it, and then bring it to your product team, to your marketing team, whatsoever, just takes time. Automating that process of finding a smart way how to actually make that data usable for all your different departments can significantly improve your time to market, being it marketing campaigns, being it product improvements, or simply meeting the customer at the right point where he actually is. And then even more importantly, a huge potential is missed due to a lack of identifying trends. And all of this, in the end, ends up in a decline of customer satisfaction. Happy customers is nothing we want, because in the end, it will result for all of us in losing our competitive position, because there are always competitors actually doing the things that I've just spoken about. There are always people making use of their data efficiently. So let's make sure that you have the right tools to actually use your data, because there is a ton of value in them. Make sure you actually use those things. So let's look at the opportunities arising from this. companies that effectively leverage unstructured data, and this isn't any made-up data, this is based on an IBM report from 2024. Actually, 41% of companies using unstructured data report a competitive edge, 37% report cost savings, and 63% report an increased operational efficiency. Unstructured data holds the key to actually understanding your customer. Other metrics just help you identify that something happens, or your unstructured data can help you understand what happens and why it actually happens. So let's assume there is a bounce rate on your website which suddenly increases, but you haven't changed anything on the website. So just seeing that the bounce rate is increasing is, it might be a wake-up call for you, but that information isn't necessarily too helpful because you still have no idea what to do, what to change, how to actually improve to make the opposite direction and improve your bounce rate. So all that information sits within your unstructured data because I'm pretty sure that there are some customer complaints, comments, things like that. So how do we actually make sure we link all these different events and make sure you're not forgetting about all these rippling effects? So using all your unstructured data actually enables you to identify pain points and opportunities as early as possible. So as I said before, going through 12,000 feedbacks from an app store is quite a shitty work. I think it's nothing that we want to do. I don't even think it's possible. And now let's look at all the different sources coming in. It's not even the App Store. It's also all your Trustpilot, whatsoever kind of review data. How do you make sure you're actually identifying all the relevant pain points and also common things across those different sources? You can enhance satisfaction by addressing those unmet needs early. And finally, you can make sure that you have good retention and engagement metrics because that's what we want to achieve. What we want to achieve here is actually make customers our most valuable asset. We want happy customers because happy customers in the end are our biggest leverage to everything. Happy customers make sure that we have good referrals. Happy customers make sure that they recommend our service. Happy customers have a longer customer lifetime with us, retention is higher. So making sure that our customers are happy should be the most crucial element of every company out there. I know that some of you might say, hey, we do have BI tools. My BI tool can do this, my BI tool can do that. But there are a couple of big issues with BI tools. BI tools are perfect for summarizing data. They can summarize all your feedback data. They might, depending on the BI tool, even create like topic clusters, sentiment clusters. But what each and every BI tool is missing is context. And only context makes data valuable. It's easy to find out or understand what happens. The hard part is to actually understand why it happens. And that's hardly to be done with your typical classical BI tool. I don't want to bash BI tools. They do have their space, but I don't think they're ideal for making sure that you take the most out of all your unstructured data. It's critical to understand what happens before and after something. So I myself, I think it's a great example. I recently ordered something online, and they built like one of these like parcel pickup self kiosks near my place like a couple of weeks ago, and it was the first time that one of my parcels was actually delivered to this pickup place. So the whole process from DHL was great. I got my notifications, I have the app, everything was extremely smooth. But then I went to the parcel store or the pickup place, scanned this QR code, but this pickup thing was broken. So they had a small NPS survey on the device. I clicked, I'm super dissatisfied. this shit is, I'm never going to do this again. While the actual service was great, just the parcel pickup was broken. And how do we make sure that we actually allocate all the information to the right places to be able to make those conclusions? We don't want to make DHL to make the conclusion that, oh, the service is shit because the service is great, but just the pickup place was broken. And last but not least, an even bigger issue with BI tools is that BI tools only or mostly focus on survey data, CSAT data, your typical website metrics, but there is so much more data available at your company. I mean, just open, if you have a drawer below your desk, just open it and look at how much stuff is in your drawer that would actually be of value for your company. I myself, I don't know how much hours I spent in the meetings this week, but I'm pretty sure it was most of my time. I've taken a ton of notes in my notepad. How do I actually make sure this data isn't lost, because my BI tool isn't analyzing that data? If you're having a agency in-house that just built you an amazing report, how do you make sure the data isn't lost afterwards? That the report isn't just put somewhere on your OneDrive folder and isn't looked at anymore later on. How do you make sure that all the environmental changes, laws, regulations are getting considered in your offerings? Because there is a huge impact by those things on what you're actually doing at the company, and making sure all of this information is coming together and you're taking one conclusion out of it is actually what a BI tool can do, but what we can achieve with Journey AI. So I'm pretty happy to finally introduce you to what we call Journey AI. What can Journey AI do? It's not just one tool, one application. Journey AI is something that we've incorporated everywhere across our cxomni platform. But the first use case, just to give you an impression, would be to use Journey AI to create comprehensive journey maps just based on your data. So I think the ones of you who have built journey maps before know how hard it is to just go through all your documents and stuff and come up with a journey map from scratch. There was so much time spent on actually putting all of that information together, bringing your team together, making sure you're building out a relevant and, or even more importantly, a customer journey that's close to real life. We can do that with Journey AI. You can connect all your different sources directly to cxomni. You can drag and drop, you can upload your research documents, your PDFs. You can even copy and paste your mirror maps, picture maps into cxomni. And Journey AI will take that information, structured in a customer journey format, and make it actually comprehensible and understandable for everyone. So everyone can just look at that customer journey and has a perfect understanding of what your customers are going through without the need to go through 100 different documents, feedback tools, and so on. Just everything at one place. If your information changes, the journey changes, all of that is being covered by Journey AI. Once you have your journey built out, you obviously want to work on your journey. You want to improve your journey. You want to drive changes that are actually relevant to the business, and you want to make sure that you're generating measurable impact. That's why what we do with Journey AI as well is uncover hidden patterns in your data and convert them into actionable insights. So let's assume we detect that there are certain issues on a certain element in your customer journey. There are a lot of complaints about a certain thing. There are a lot of questions about something, a lot of suggestions on a certain feature. What Journey AI does is it actually converts this information into an actionable insight that gives you recommendations on what to do next. And even more importantly, it takes into account what is the effect on your customer journey. So a relatively small complaint in the beginning of the customer journey, it might not seem too relevant to you, but it actually has a rippling effect through the whole customer journey, causing the customer to just don't feel comfortable working with the company, even if the problem itself might seem super small. So finding all these granular things is so complicated. We've got you covered. Just use Journey AI. We will consider all these effects and help you not only create these insights, but also prioritize them according on their impact on one journey or even multiple customer journeys. And last but not least, we also help you to just categorize all your data, all your feedback by, for example, sentiment, like pains, gains, opportunities, depending on what sentiments you're working with. Journey AI is pretty flexible, so there's no fixed framework that you need to use. We're pretty flexible to adopt to whatever you're working with at your company. But we also help you to create topic clusters within those sentiments. So just seeing complaints, yeah, might be helpful, but seeing all complaints relating to topic A, topic B, and topic C is more helpful to actually make the case you want to make. And this might be a quite opposing stance to many in the CX community, but Journey AI isn't about the high level stuff. It's not about fixing the big issues. Usually CX is not just about the one big thing. It's about all the small stuff. It's about all the small stuff that's adding up and adding up and adding up and causing either a good or a terrible customer experience. So if you're having children, or if you, depending on how old you are, if you haven't built a sandcastle in the recent years, it's not just one big block that you put somewhere, but you need to use all these little grains of sand, which are finally adding up to a great or a terrible sandcastle. So Journey AI doesn't just focus on the one big thing, it focuses on all the small stuff that you need to improve to deliver a great customer experience. So let's summarize. What does Journey AI help you to do? It helps you to map out interactions with your customers across all your different touch points. Helps you to create a clear view on your experiences that you can also share with others. So if someone is asking, hey, how do customers actually perceive X, Y, that? How does that service work? How does that offering work? You can just refer them to your journey map, which gives them a perfect impression of what customers are currently going through. You can create those journeys manually. You can create them with Journey AI. You can do it in a combination of both. But visualizing customer journeys is a huge first step of making your unstructured data consumable for everyone in your organization. You can, as a second step, connect your journeys with different data sources, making sure that your journeys are always up to date, always reflected what is actually happening in the outside world. We will structure all the data with Journey AI, update the journey, create insights, identify patterns, and help you actually taking a decision. We help you as a next step evaluate and prioritize on what you should focus on, which CX opportunities are the most important ones, which are generating the highest impact with the least effort, if that's relevant to you. As Journey AI just doesn't look at one singular element, but it looks at the impact something has on the whole customer journey. So as I said earlier, a super small, super tiny thing you don't might even consider to fix it, to work on it, might have a huge effect on the whole customer journey if it's affecting steps later on in that customer journey. And last but not least, we make sure that you can actually orchestrate those insights. So having insights sitting in a BI tool isn't helpful. Having sitting insights in Jira isn't helpful. having insights in cxomni isn't helpful as long as you don't work with those insights. You need to make sure that all the key stakeholders are on board and actually understand what you're trying to improve, what an insight is about. And that's what we can achieve through Journey AI by making that data consumable and understandable for each and everyone in your organization. So if we need to bring it to just one sentence, Journey AI isn't there to replace anyone. Journey AI isn't there to do the work that you don't want to do. Journey AI is there to help you take the right decisions. And I mean, probably every one of you has heard that quote. It's by a Harvard professor. He said, I think it was in 2023 already, so quite a while ago already. He said that AI won't replace humans, but humans with AI will replace humans without AI. So just to make sure that you understand why you should act today is the market and the customer expectations are rapidly evolving. It's so fast, our world has gotten so fast paced, it's so hard to keep up, it's so hard to always adjust your offering to perfectly match your customers' expectations and customer needs. More and more data is available, but just having more data overloads your team, makes sure that your team's unhappy, but using that data can actually be a game changer to each and every one of you, especially as data is growing and growing and growing. AI, no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. I hope everyone knows that from his personal life already. And Journey AI, to put it simply, empowers you to act now. You don't need to spend hours analyzing data anymore. You can just plug it into Journey AI, start analyzing it, and start taking the first measures and actions tomorrow, making sure that your customers are getting a great experience. That's it about Journey AI. I hope you all got a first impression of how big the problem of unstructured data is and how Journey AI can actually help you work with that data. And with that being said, I'd love to bring back Chris to answer the questions from the chat.
All right. So I think it's amazing to see what is already possible with Journey AI, Johannes, but here's one question that asks if you can tell us a little bit more what is about to expect in the future with Journey AI.
I think that's pretty simple. AI currently, or what most AI solutions are currently focusing on, is using the data that's currently available to you. So as I said, research documents, feedbacks, stuff like that. But the trend more and more goes into a predictive direction. So making sure that you're always one step ahead of your competition. And that's also what we're focusing on with Journey AI, making sure that you're not only reactive, but that you're even also proactive in taking your decisions and improving customer experience. I hope that answers the questions a bit. So it will go more and more into a predictive manner than just a reactive manner.
Yeah, totally. I think so. To add on that, I think also what's very important is that the models will get better, right? So there will be also data that is external of the organization doing the journey management, like market data, data about competition, and so on and so forth. And what journeys, or what will make journeys really powerful, is to kind of predict different scenarios and rate their probabilities, so you can really make more informed decisions, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, social listening, for example, is a keyword that probably everyone has heard about already. So how do we make sure that we also use all of that external data in our models, helping us to not predict the future, but going into or trying to go into such a direction.
Yeah. All right. There's one more question about real life examples where Journey AI already helped to drive business impact.
Yeah, I mean, I can't share anything specifically, so I can't share any names. But we have one big customer from Germany we're working with, and that team just used some sentiment analysis tools, and that worked out perfectly fine for 4, 5, 6 years. But throughout 2024, there was a development. They had implemented a few more tools, and just the amount of data they're collecting exploded. So their analytics team spoke to us and said, hey, do you have any solutions how we can make sure that we're not just losing all of the data, all of that insight? And that's where Journey AI comes in. So clustering 12,000 feedbacks into sentiments, yeah, okay. But making sure that you get out these insights, that's where Journey AI steps in. So 12,000 insights, 12,000 feedbacks, we can condense them into 20, 30 insights, which you can actually consume, take decisions, and take next actions on those. So I think that's a interesting case. We're also working with a big corporate from Switzerland, and what they're trying to achieve with cxomni, and they've done that for quite a few years manually, but it was a huge effort, is to figure out what the environmental impact on their offerings is. So it's a very regulated environment they're working in. So there are a lot of like regulation changes, laws, stuff like that. And they need to constantly figure out how to adjust their offering to always reflect these measures. And that's again something that Journey has tremendously helped by just taking that data, generating insights, and making sure that you actually have recommendations you can work with, and not just plain law kind of texts which are extremely hard to go through.
Yeah, I think I can add to that, because there's one specific customer I'm working with, which I have in mind. They're doing something really cool. I think they basically, I think everyone tried to map a current state and target state map at one point, right? And what they are doing is they take unstructured data like feedback data was of the customer and so on and so forth, and then they separate two data sets, right? The really good feedback, the really bad feedback, and then they use AI to create a perfect world scenario journey and a worst world journey. And that gives a new perspective what could go wrong, to do some risk management along the journey, right? And what can be optimized, what is going really, really good for those customers who are really happy, and then implement those insights that come from the comparison of those two journeys to their real journey and really work on that journey.
Yeah,
right.
No, that's a great example, and that just shows how flexible Journey AI is. So the tool can do what it can do, but it now depends on its users' creativity to actually come up with smart ways how to make it work. And I know that there was a ton of possibilities how you can get value out of your data with Journey AI.
Yeah. All right. So with respect to time, last questions, I would say. It's a question from me, actually, because I know you work a lot with our customers in post-sales. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about how the teamwork between the AI and the human journey manager looks like, right? Because we all know AI won't replace journey managers, but how does it look like to actually work with the AI?
I mean, it just takes a lot of the manual and tedious work away. It helps journey managers to focus on the relevant things. So instead of focusing on collecting all the data, analyzing it, bringing it into the system, it helps you to focus on what to actually change about the journey, where to improve, what measures, what initiatives do we need to put in place, instead of spending 80% on your time of trying to figure out why so many customers are complaining. So it's putting journey managers into a very proactive situation instead of a very reactive situation that we are currently seeing quite a lot, sadly. But Journey AI can also help to make what journey managers are doing more quantitative. So journey management is often something very subjective. So you're improving a certain touch point, you're improving a certain channel, but proving the effect that you're causing with that can be quite challenging. Having all the data in place having all the data being analyzed can actually help you and can actually bring you into a position to prove ROI on all the different initiatives and measures you're taking, while before it was extremely complicated to do these kind of ROI, return on invest calculations in journey management, as you mostly don't have the direct effect that you can measure this with something.
Great answer. Thank you, Johannes. All right, so I see there are a few more questions in the tool. We can go over them with respect to the time, but I will reach out to everyone who asked a question on LinkedIn right after the webinar, and we can continue the exchange if you want to. Then you can also connect with us via LinkedIn. You can see our full names here, also the QR code to get to our profiles and connect with us, and we'd be happy to continue the exchange. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Johannes, for the great presentation, and wish everyone a pleasant day. Goodbye.
Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.